We appreciate that. Thank you. So we fielded some questions during that break, and I think that some of these may apply to some thoughts that you may have had, and that's great, because we can sort of handle it all at once and get that stuff out of the way. Fair enough? Yes? Yes? Yes. Okay. Someone said that they had just been making this way too hard. Okay, that's sort of a common thought. Yes? Yes. Here, I have a thought on that, and I'm sure Pony does as well. Sometimes, if we make something way too hard, it sort of takes us off the hook of doing it. Yikes.
Yeah.
Puts it back on us. Because I can tell you that if I am looking at something and I just don't want to do it, the mind is amazing at coming up with, well, here's why you don't want to do it. Or I can't even fathom how to do it. Now you know how. You know how the business works? There's an hourglass. And you know that even the formula to grow isn't that darn difficult. Use the example we just talked about. And yes, it's a stretch. I mean, we wouldn't pick a tiny example, would we? But we just talked about $25,000 per business period, which would get you to the top leadership position in your company in about, 3 months. Okay? So let's say you stretch that, and let's say it took double that amount of time. Double it! Still pretty decent. But sometimes we make it so hard so that we don't have to do it. Oh, it's just too hard. It's an excuse. And that's okay, because today's a new day, and now maybe we don't have that same excuse. So for example, if we ever have a conversation with any of you one-on-one about growing your business by 10,000, which includes your entire team, and you say, oh, it's just too... We're going to say, that's interesting. You just told us, and we have it on DVD, that it's not very hard. Right? Interesting. Sorry, you're all caught. So what do you think our expectation is of you from now on, that you're going to do what? You're going to win. You're going to grow, right? Okay. Any thoughts on that concept of being so hard and people make it hard? And
I do not understand how everybody made it so hard from the very beginning. It seems to me like it's almost a legacy within our industry that's just been passed on for generations. And I just don't understand where that came from or how it started that way. All I know is I see it getting passed on, and it's just so ridiculous. It's so simple that it almost just freaks people out when they get that. You know, they're just like, wow, you know, I can't believe that. But it is a huge thing just to realize that it is simple and just go to work on those simple concepts, and that changes the whole thing.
So what do we do? I mean, if you think about it, if all of our teams and all of our people that we've ever introduced this to are in that same position, what on earth do we do? Well, you might want to hand them the DVDs that you have and say, take 2 days of your life and watch this so that they understand some of the concepts. Can you think of another industry that a person would go into with no experience, no manuals, no idea how to do it, and spend years trying to do it?
No.
That doesn't make any sense, but people do it every day in this. Why? Because they're so desperate for the end result. Great. Let's shorten that first part of the curve. Let's get to the end result much quicker by giving you specific information. Someone asked us at a break yesterday, why are you really doing this? That's one of the main reasons. To shorten that curve and make, I mean, this is ridiculous that people take years of their lives to learn something like that when you can just look at math and start to figure it out. Do you guys agree? So we'll do that part, you do your part. Deal? Get the information to your group. Fair enough? Another question. Someone said, I had you in the first part, about the 10, but as soon as you involved it up to 25, my mind instantly said, oh, I could never do it.
Interesting. But that was about the partners. So I don't even understand that.
So that was about the partners, but let's sort of look at this. What my response was, you know, far inferior, far less people with less comprehension have done it. They've proved that it can be done. Lots of people have done this, been successful in this industry. What industry has created more millionaires than this industry? Only a couple. There's a couple, but over the course of decades and decades. But this is right up there, right? A lot of people have done it. So to not include yourself among the masses that could do it, that doesn't even make sense, does it? Realistically. That's number one. Number two, and this involves the second question, or the next question I want to ask you, what if you didn't quite reach 25?
Wow, I like the sound effects.
Okay? That was a good sound effect.
That was. That was awesome.
Dustin and I were talking at the break. He wouldn't let me go to the restroom.
Dustin.
And he said, we were talking about it, and I said, well, okay, what if everyone failed? Meaning, Dustin shoots for 10, he only gets 8. His team members shoot for 5, they only get 4.
Yeah.
So
That's
3
awesome.
team members that get 4 is how much? 12,000 in volume. Dustin only gets 8 instead of 10. He just got 20,000 in volume in a business period. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's awesome.
Sometimes we're making it too hard, overthinking it, overanalyzing it, and then finally someone said, well, yeah, you answer all these questions and make them sound so easy. That's because no matter what the answer is, even sometimes before I say it, you'll see me look up. It's not because I have no idea what to say. Sometimes that's the case. It's usually that I come up with my answer, and then I say, is there a way to make it even easier? Is there a way to make it even, because even our tendency would be to make it harder. So before I answer, I want to just make sure I'm answering it in the easiest way possible so that we all get that this is easy. There's not one physical action item that you'll do in this business that's the painstakingly difficult, oh gosh, this one's really tough, I got to dig a 6-inch ditch under a house. None of the stuff that we do is hard. It's just doing it. And doing it with the right mindset.
That's right. No, that's it. I mean, you summed it up. It's good.
Okay, those were our questions. Did those apply to some of you? Yes?
I have one more question that came up.
Okay.
That's good. Just real briefly, we'll cover this, but somebody has brought to my attention that we haven't talked at all about partnership, and one of the things that's really important that I like to cover is what I call the power of partnership. And I think it is extremely crucial to your success that you have some form of partner, and it doesn't have to be a spouse, but it has to be somebody that you can run with, what I call run with. And there's just something about that synergy. It can be someone on your team or on another team, or it doesn't, it really doesn't matter who, as long as they believe in you and it's consistent. And the one thing that I will tell you is that with all the years of experience in this business, I made this little graph in my head, and I saw so many people that would come to me and talk to me about their partners, and they would say, my partner doesn't believe in this or that, or my partner's this and that. And I started
How many of you
realizing
experienced that in one way, shape, or form?
very
Okay.
common, very
So we're all-
common.
okay.
Yep. The thing that I realized was I have seen people make it in this business whose partners are active, what I call active, meaning taking action, effective action, and supportive. Okay. I have seen people make it whose partners are supportive, but not active. Okay? You following me? But I've never seen anybody make it whose partner is non-supportive, non-active. And if you are in that group, you are really going to have to think about how you're going to address that, because that to me is an issue.
Okay, let's work on it. Anyone
Well-
need to work on it? Yes or no? Okay. What
Well-
are some things we can do?
That is an interesting one, because it's got to be addressed, or you are going to be spinning your wheels, because that partnership and that person is going to undermine your success constantly. And so I was really hoping that you guys would say, oh no, we don't have that problem. No, none of us have that problem. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
I have a couple
it's got
ideas.
to be addressed. So yeah.
Have you had a conversation where you've said,
Yeah, that's what I
you're
was gonna
important
say.
to me,
Yeah.
and I'm important to you? And I like to sort of go with, what are the givens? What are the things that we know to be true?
Mm-hmm.
Like the numbers to me, do you guys get the sense that I know those numbers to be true?
Yeah.
Those are factual.
Yeah.
You can't, no one will convince me they're not, because we've already done it. Even during a 100-day challenge. How do you think we mapped out the 100-day challenge?
Yep.
Just like you saw. No complicated math.
Yep.
No slide rules.
I'd rule.
Yeah, nothing complicated. No protractor contract. What is that? Protractors?
Contractor.
No contractors needed. No pliers. Definitely no pliers, right?
That's how you did it.
It's just breaking it down, saying, well, how much do we need to grow? Okay. How many weeks do we have? Okay. How many days do we have in those weeks? Okay. How many team members do we have to work with? Okay. We can do it. Let's go. That's all it was. So with something like this, I like to go with, well, what are the givens? The givens would be, you care about me, I care about you. The things that are important to you, therefore, are, if we really get things out on the table and talk about them. Most people don't like to do that, do we?
No.
No, because it's always maybe uncomfortable or painful, right? A lot of times the only way to grow, at least what I've seen in my own life with past relationships that we're trying to work on, and all this stuff we talked about this morning is to just get it out there.
Yep.
And if you don't, boy, it's hard to hold a lot in. And you know what? People that say they're holding it in tends to bubble out their ears and they're everywhere, you know? It just is out there, even though they say they're holding it in. You know what I mean? It just comes out. So why not? You know, sometimes if Pony and I are in a, let's say, a disagreement about something. It's a beautiful day out today. Sometimes I like to just say, let's just talk through it. Let's just get it over. Let's hash it out. And sometimes that's not the most comfortable thing to do, but I like to do that just to see, okay, I care about you, you care about me, we don't see this eye to eye, let's get it out there and figure out a solution. Because if not, it could hold you back for months, weeks, months, years, or lifetimes. That's not fair to you, is it? So what if you got it out there and said, you know, this is really important to me, and I know that it's not going to work unless you're at least supportive, and that's really going to hurt my feelings, and it's really going to hurt our relationship, and it could even destroy it. Is that a possibility that it could?
Yeah.
Then, I mean, you almost got to share it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but again, how easy could it be? Maybe that easy.